Donald Trump wants a third term. Yes, you heard that right. The same constitution that limits US presidents to 2 terms seems to be no obstacle in Trump's imagination. At 79, sitting aboard Air Force One, Trump smiled and said, "I'd love to do it. I have my best numbers ever." But is this just Trump being Trump, or is something deeper unfolding in American politics? Today we'll talk about a question that's making headlines across the world. Can Donald Trump really serve a third term as President of the United States? Or is this yet another chapter in his long history of testing democratic limits? Let's dive straight in from Malaysia's ASEAN summit to the corridors of the White House and unpack what Trump's latest remark means for America and for democracy itself. It was Monday, October 27, 2025. Trump had just left Malaysia after attending the ASEAN summit and boarded Air Force One flying toward Tokyo. A journalist asked him, "Mr. President, will you consider running as Vice President in 2028? Trump, with his characteristic grin, replied, "I'd be allowed to do that, but I wouldn't do it. It's too cute. People wouldn't like that." And then came the real headline. When pressed about a third term, he said, "I'd love to do it." Now, let's pause right there, because the U.S. Constitution is very clear. The 22nd Amendment says, "No person shall be elected to the office of the President more than twice." This was added in 1951 after Franklin D. Roosevelt broke precedent and served 4 terms. The idea was simple. Democracy should never depend on one man. So, legally speaking, Trump cannot run again, not as president, not even as vice president. Why? Because the 12th Amendment says that anyone ineligible to be president is also ineligible to be vice president. So the Constitution shuts both doors. But when has Donald Trump ever been known for respecting doors? He prefers to knock them down. Throughout his political career and even before, Trump has thrived in pushing boundaries. In 2016, he tore apart political correctness. In 2020, he challenged the legitimacy of the election results, leading to one of the darkest days in American democracy, the storming of Capitol Hill. And now, in 2025, as he begins his second term, he's teasing the possibility of a third. His supporters love it. They wear hats that say Trump 2028. They cheer at rallies when he jokes, "Maybe we'll go for a third term or a fourth." For them, it's entertainment mixed with loyalty. For his critics, it's a warning sign. Let's understand the politics behind this. Trump's remarks came at a time when his approval ratings are high, the highest since his first term. He's just returned from Asia, projecting himself as a strong leader on trade and global affairs. When he says, "I'd love a third term," he's not necessarily announcing a legal plan. He's flexing political muscle. He's telling his base, "I'm irreplaceable." He's telling his rivals, "Even after 2 terms, I'll dominate the conversation." And he's telling the media, "You'll keep talking about me." That's Trump's real genius, staying in the headlines always. Now, history offers some interesting parallels. Franklin D. Roosevelt, as I mentioned earlier, was elected 4 times during the Great Depression and World War II. He was immensely popular. But after his death, Americans decided never again. Term limits were introduced to prevent any president from becoming a king. Across the world, though, we've seen leaders who found ways to extend their rule. Vladimir Putin in Russia, Xi Jinping in China, Recep Tayyip Erdogan in Turkey. Each began as an elected leader. Each slowly stretched constitutional limits. Trump's critics fear he might try something similar, using legal loopholes, loyal state officials, or even the Supreme Court to justify an extension. His supporters, on the other hand, argue that he's only joking, that this is classic Trump showmanship, provoking the media to keep him in the spotlight. So let's be clear, as of now, there is no legal way for Donald Trump to serve a third term. Even if he tried the vice president trick, where he runs as VP and then the president resigns, it wouldn't work, because the 12th Amendment closes that loophole. Constitutional scholars have been unanimous. Trump cannot run for vice president. He cannot be elected president again. But remember, laws only work as long as people respect them. The fear among some observers is not that Trump can legally do it, but that he might try to politically pressure the system to allow it. Beyond Trump, this story tells us something larger about modern democracies. Around the world, we are seeing strong leaders who claim that only they can save the nation, who say, "Without me, there is chaos." It's a narrative that slowly erodes democratic norms. Trump's third-term comment fits into that global trend. It's not about the law, it's about sentiment, about building a myth of indispensability. And in the age of social media, myths spread faster than constitutions can catch up. Now, Trump did mention 2 names, Vice President J.D. Vance and Secretary of State Marco Rubio. He called them great people who could run in 2028. He even joked if they ever formed a group, it would be unstoppable. That's Trump's style, keep the speculation alive. By praising potential successors, he positions himself as a kingmaker. Even when he leaves office, the Trump brand remains the center of Republican politics. So whether or not he runs, his shadow will loom large over 2028. But the real question isn't about one man, it's about a mindset. When leaders start believing that they alone define the nation, democracies weaken. When citizens start cheering for power or principle, constitutions become paper. So, whether Trump truly meant it or was just joking, the fact that millions take the idea of third term seriously is a reflection of how polarized America has become. If you found this analysis useful, don't forget to share thoughts in the comments, hit the like button, share it with your friends, and do subscribe to the channel for more such videos. Thank you for watching.